What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome on into the Jets Report. I'm your host, Patrick Seatman. And coming up on today's show, we're going to preview the Week 3 matchup where the New York Jets are traveling down to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. And coming up, we'll be deep diving into Tampa, talking about how they have started this season. We also got some major injury news, mainly on the Jets front with Justin Fields, to talk about him and concussion protocol. Then I got my 5 keys to victory, and then we'll close it out with my score prediction. But quickly here, the Buccaneers are a hell of a team. This is a tough spot for the New York Jets. I think the Bucs are one of the best teams in the NFC, and they've started off this season really hot. So we'll dive into all that here in a second. But before we do so, if you guys want the Jets to get their first win of the season, the first win in the Aaron Glenn era, go down there, hit that thumbs up icon. If you guys want the Jets to beat the Buccaneers, they got a chance in this game. It's going to be a tough matchup. But hey, maybe Aaron Glenn can get these boys ready to go. So if you want the Jets to win, hit that thumbs up button. All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have been one of the best ran franchises over the last couple of seasons. They have 4 straight NFC South titles, and they have just been one of the best drafting teams in the league. Like, it feels like every single year they have 1 or 2 rookies that just absolutely pops, and they got a roster filled with blue chippers, and they've started off this season playing good football. 2 road games against 2 solid teams, and they've handled business. And also, Baker Mayfield has been fantastic this year. A lot of clutch plays. He's been playing some good football, but they handled the Falcons in week 1, winning 23-20. And then last night on Monday Night Football, in a game where they weren't really playing too well, they still were able to get a victory because of a Baker Mayfield game-winning drive, won that game 20-19. But how do they shake out? We're going to start off offensively here. Yards per game, they're 19th in the league. Pass yards per game, 26, but they love getting downhill, love running that football. And they're 9th in the league in rushing yards per game. They're also averaging 21.5 points per game, which is 18th, and third down percentage, very good. Number 6 in the league at 46.4%. But a big reason why they're so good on third downs is because of their quarterback, Baker Mayfield. I think Baker has hit the prime of his career. He's 30 years old. He has a ton of games and just reps under his belt. And this guy, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. This guy's a gamer. When the biggest moments in the game are going on, Baker Mayfield makes his best plays. And we saw that yesterday on Monday Night Football. And he's been unbelievable this season. And he's also got a bunch of weapons around him, like Mike Evans. Still an absolute dog. Big body wide receiver. We know what he's all about. But then their rookie this year, Emeka Buka, I don't know how he just fell into their lap late in the first round, but he looks amazing. 3 touchdowns in 2 games for him. And then I think Bucky Irvin, probably one of the most underrated players in the league. This guy moves just differently. He kind of reminds me of an Alvin Kamara type of running back where it almost looks that sometimes he's like running in slow motion, but then guys will just be bouncing off him. And then when he finally turns it up, he can just make guys miss in the open field. So they have a ton of weapons. They have a really good quarterback. And their new offensive coordinator, Gizzard, is actually having a hell of a performance so far to start this season. But defensively, their bread and butter is stopping the run. And that's why this is a tough matchup. Because they have had Vita Vea holding down that interior of their defensive line for the past for the past almost decade there in Tampa Bay. He's an absolute stud. They're great at stopping the run. They're great on third downs because of Todd Bowles, and they're only giving up 19.5 points per game to start the season. And that's why with the Buccaneers, they're a fantastic team. And this is a really tough spot for the Jets. But also, this is a great opportunity. You start off 0-2. You have a heartbreaking loss to the Steelers. You get your ass handed to you by the Buffalo Bills. And now you have a chance, week 3, on the road to right your wrongs. And I almost feel like for the Jets, maybe a little road trip could be good for this team. You're going on the road. Everybody in that locker room is just focused on winning a football game. There's no distractions that can happen when you are at home. You're around your family, you're around your friends. But when you have that road trip traveling down to Tampa, it's just about those 53 guys in that locker room and that coaching staff. So the Bucs, they're a great team. This is not going to be an easy game for the Jets. They're going to have to play their A-plus football if they want to go down there to Tampa and get a win, but it's definitely on the table. Hopefully the Jets play more of like they did in week 1 compared to week 2, and we'll see what happens this Sunday in Tampa. But I'll ask you guys this here first. Predict the score for me. Jets versus Buccaneers. I will say this is a very intriguing game in my opinion. I can't wait to see how it goes down, but if you guys could predict the score for me down below in the comment section. And we'll dive into some injury news around Justin Fields and some keys to victories here in a second. But quickly, a message from today's sponsor. Before we dive into the rest of today's episode, I got to give a massive thank you to the DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring today's show. Now, the dog days of summer are over and the football season is back. What better time to get in on the action at the DraftKings Sportsbook than right now? All new customers can sign up and use promo code JETSCHAT. Bet just $5 of your own money and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. You heard that right. Football season is the best time of the year. Get back into the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook today. Whether you are into live in-game betting, same-game parlays, you have all the options. New customers sign up and use promo code JETSCHAT and bet just $5, and we will hook you guys up with $200 in bonus bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Once again, thank you to the DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring today's show. Now let's dive into the rest of today's episode. Obviously the Jets, they have a higher end backup quarterback in a guy like Tyrod Taylor. So it's not like you're going from like the Bengals, for example, or they're going from like a top 5 quarterback in the league in Joe Burrow, to a guy like Jake Browning as the backup. So it's not the end of the world if Fields can't go, but also just to get this guy more reps, I think is going to be huge for this team because, Fields, he's learning that new offense. He's trying to get accustomed to what Tanner Engstrand wants to do. And it would be massive if he could be out there. I'd probably put it as a 50-50 chance if Fields is going to play. But if he can't play, the Jets will turn it over to Tyrod Taylor. And, I do feel confident that Tyrod could potentially go into Tampa, get a win. You always get that kind of backup quarterback boost where a backup quarterback comes in just for that first game. He can kind of galvanize the locker room. The guys can really rally around him, and Tyrod has that ability. Like, clearly a good guy. Clearly this team, really supports him, and they want to rally around him. So you could go from Justin Fields to Tyrod Taylor. The offense would change just a little bit. Probably not a lot of read options that they were showing week 1, but I really hope Fields is out there this weekend because, 1, he just gives you the best chance to win, and 2, he needs these reps. He's still a young quarterback. You got to let these guys develop. And one little quick note here. I am so sick and tired of people in this kind of microwave society where they just want, results instantly. And sometimes you have to be patient with these quarterbacks. Fields, he looked terrible during week 2. There's no doubt about that. But also this guy, he's still young. He's still figuring it out. So just all the reps he can get will be huge. But also some more injury news on the Jets. Jermaine Johnson left the last week's game with an ankle injury, did not play in the second half. He tweeted this out yesterday saying, "Thank God, y'all have no idea." And I'm sure Jermaine, he was very scared with that injury because he was coming off a major injury this past season. He obviously wants to go out there, play some good football, perform for this team, and also he's trying to get paid. So this is a massive, massive, just positive injury update around him. Also, Jermaine, he likes the attention a little bit, so that's probably why he ended up tweeting that out. But good news there that he'll probably be out there this weekend. But 2 injuries that we need to follow on the Buccaneers side, Tristan Wirfs, Chris Godwin. Now, they were both questionable heading into the Monday night game yesterday. I'm assuming Wirfs won't go. I could see Chris Godwin going in this spot. And if he's out there, like the Buccaneers, probably got the best trio of wide receivers in the league. Emeka Buka is fantastic. Mike Evans is amazing. And Chris Godwin, one of the, just best veteran wide receivers. Sure hands, can get open. Not going to do too much. Not going to try to overperform, but whatever is asked on any given play, Chris Godwin can execute that at a high level. But let's talk about some keys to victory. And we're going to assume Justin Fields can go for my first one. But also the same thing can apply for Tyrod Taylor. But more specifically about Justin Fields, you got to get Fields going early. And we have told you guys this here on the channel. Fields is a streaky player. When he's rocking and rolling, he's seen his first couple of completions go through. This guy can get hot. But also on the other end, he can struggle a little bit if he's not feeling it. And I think the first 2 weeks are a perfect example of what we're going to experience this whole season. Week 1, the guy was freaking fantastic. One of the best quarterbacks in league in week 1. 0.68 EPA per attempt, best of his career. Week 2, a minus 0.58 per EPA per attempt. That was the worst of his career. So there will be ups and downs with him. Hopefully, if he does play, we get more of week 1 or even just find that middle ground. Like, if he can just play middle-of-the-pack football, there's enough talent around him where they should be a little more successful offensively. And number 2 for me, I'm going to go don't overcommit to the run. Because I do think the Jets kind of got down in a hole last week, and they kept on trying to run the football. It kind of felt like every set of downs, it was like they were pretty much saying to themselves, all right, we're going to go run, pass. And then they got behind the sticks. It's tough to sustain these long drives in the NFL. You got to generate explosive plays, and it's going to be tough to generate explosive plays on the ground because the Buccaneers, they have one of the best run defenses in the league. And if Fields is out there or if Tyrod's out there, trust those quarterbacks a little bit because this is a tough spot. You're probably going, if you win this game, you're probably going to have a great performance from your quarterback. So you got to trust him. And if he doesn't play well, he doesn't play well. But you at least have to roll those die a little bit. Don't overcommit to the run. And, speaking about the other side of the field, you got to stop the run. You can't give up extra yards in this game. The Jets last 2 weeks, tackling, still an issue with this football team, and you can't give up extra yards. Because, again, the Buccaneers are a good team. You're going to have to play some good football, and they got one of the best running backs in the league, Bucky Irving. The stats aren't going to blow you away. Like 31 carries, 108 yards, you're probably saying, what the hell are you talking about? Go throw on the tape. He passes the eye test. This guy's a problem. Just like how James Cook cooked you last week, Bucky Irving could do the same. This guy is a problem in the open field. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy to tackle this guy. I can imagine trying to tackle him, but he is that good. He is that special. The Buccaneers, top to bottom, just have a ton of playmakers. So Bucky Irving, he's got to be priority number one defensively. Take him out of the game, and then you'll move on to Baker, Mike Evans, Emeka, Chris Godwin. Then you try to slow those guys down. But it starts with Bucky. You got to take him away. And then the defensive line, kind of the same here. You got to dominate. Like Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. We need the blue chippers for this Jets team to play like blue chippers. And they have so far this season. So just kind of continuing what you're doing. Hopefully Tony Adams and Brandon Stevens don't sell this game like they did the past couple of weeks. But the Jets win if the defensive line dominates. Because you're going to have to get a good performance out of the quarterback spot, whether it's Tyrod or Justin Fields. But if you want to slow down this Buccaneers offense, that D-line up front is going to have to dominate. Now, I will say, last night against the Houston Texans, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, they were getting home to Baker Mayfield a whole lot. They were pressuring him a ton. So I expect the same for Jermaine and also Will McDonald. And also you got to have Quinnen in that interior, stopping the run. Maybe he gets home, gets that interior pressure. That would be huge in this game. And then lastly, Sauce Gardner versus Mike Evans. Mike Evans might be the most underrated wide receiver of all time. Like, he's never truly had a dominant season where the guy goes for 1,400, 1,500 yards. But he's just like a winning football player. And he is the safety net for Baker Mayfield. Like, whenever it's 3rd and 5, he's looking number 13's way. It's either just a quick out, quick slant, big body wide receiver. He is a tough guard. But we also saw Sauce Gardner's classmate, Derek Stingley, had a hell of a game on him. He was able to slow him up a little bit. And I'm expecting Sauce to do the same. And I will tip my cap to this guy. A lot of noise around him. People calling him overrated after last year's performance. This guy that has answered the bell. One of the best corners in the league. Probably the best corner so far. Overall PFF grade, 85.2. Coverage grade, 86.8. At 2nd and 3rd in the National Football League in a bunch of snaps. He's gone against good wide receivers so far. And he's got another good test here against Mike Evans. But my score prediction. I think it's going to be a close game. But I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just a better football team. But the Jets, you got a chance. And I think this game will be 24-20 late in that 4th quarter. Can Tyrod, can Justin Fields deliver a game-winning touchdown drive? That's what this game will come down to. So if the Jets win, I think it's going to be maybe 27-24. But I just think this Buccaneers team is it's a tough match, man. And they're a hell of an organization. They've been drafting crazy well over the last couple of years, and it kind of feels like they're hitting their peak. Baker Mayfield's in his prime. All those young guys they have are getting better every single year, so this is a tough spot. But a win, still on the table. But my score prediction, 24-20 in favor of the Buccaneers. Now, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, appreciate everybody watching. Hit me with the Go Jets, Jets, down below in the comment section. See you guys next time. As always, Go Jets.